what's up, Quacks? So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about my process of a collage that I made, and it's about body dysmorphia. So body dysmorphia is a disorder where basically you just have like a really distorted perception of yourself, and you either exaggerate flaws that exist or you have flaws that you think exist but they don't, and it's something that I suffer with, and it's very annoying. So I just wanted to make a collage based on that, or just kind of like wanting to look in a certain idealized way, because that's kind of how I feel right now. And I was inspired by a couple like collage things that I had laying around that I thought would look good together. I had this photo slash painting. I think it's a painting of like some woman. She looks very artsy. I hope YouTube doesn't like give me crap for seeing her butt, even though it's really not like a sexual thing. It's supposed to be like artsy looking, you know. And then there's the Hello Kitty in a wig. I think that was like something when I looked at it, I was like, oh, this actually could work for this collage, and I'm gonna get to that in a moment. And then there's the fat-free nutrition labels from milk that I had, and because my body dysmorphia is specifically about my weight, so I thought that the element of having like fat-free around the canvas would kind of contribute to like, okay, so this is kind of about like wanting to look a certain way, wanting to be fat-free. So with that in mind, it's basically about like body weight and like obsessing over numbers. That's why there's like little numbers on like the bottom, and then there's at the top, and then there's like dress measurements. And the woman that's like posing artistically is in front of this dress mannequin thing. Unfortunately, it got mostly covered because of the way I positioned everything, which kind of sucks, so you can't really see it. But yeah, it was supposed to just like a dress or something like that. And then for the Hello Kitty in the wig, so my idea for this was basically that it was like her trying to look a certain way, or her trying to wear this blonde wig to like sort of look or try to achieve some sort of idealized beauty, even though I know it's just a Hello Kitty in a blonde wig and she looks like she's adorable and slaying. But when I saw it, and for this collage and specifically, I thought it would work. You know, she's trying to look idealized, she's trying to make herself look pretty even though she's a cat. And then when you tie in the quote on the top of it that says, I'm not asking to be human, I'm asking to be myself, that definitely like kind of ties in a way, since it's Hello Kitty. But I think I kind of disconnecting the Hello Kitty part for this collage, and it's just cat in a wig. But anyway, it's interesting, you know, if you think about it, that she's like not wanting to be human, she just wants to be herself, but like she's trying not to be herself by wearing this blonde wig. And I don't know, I mean, I guess maybe I'm trying a little too hard and I'm blue curtaining my own art, but this is how I was thinking when I made it. So yeah, and how she's positioned, it looks like she's idolizing the like artsy looking woman on the left side. Like she wants to be like her. I know it's funny because like her hair isn't long and flowy, but maybe it's the cat trying to achieve some other beauty standard that just isn't present on the canvas, you know, because long flowy hair is definitely like an idealized thing for like femininity, since having short hair, God forbid you have short hair and you're a woman, it's like that's apparently a crime for some people. But yeah, so that was another element. And then there's a quote that says on the canvas, a thing of beauty is a joy forever, its loveliness increases, it will never pass into nothingness. I think I just put that there just kind of like as like an offset to like all of the other elements. I think I understand what it means, I'm not sure, so like I don't know, I just had like, because all the stuff like the dress measurements and all that came from like one collage paper. It was like from one of these big collage sheet things where it has like a ton of different papers and they're like really big squares, so I cut out different pieces and I just included different parts there because it all kind of relates to like beauty and body measurements and whatnot. So yeah, and then at the top you see body measurements, and near the end I did cross out all the larger numbers so that only the smallest size was present, because it's like, oh, I only want to be the smallest size rather than the biggest size. So there's that. And then at the bottom, it's really hard to see, but I put that there to be really, like, it was definitely very intentional. It says, "Hi Melody, don't you know everyone loves you?" So I included that, and it's very small because, well, for one thing, the sticker was kind of transparent, so it blends in. But if you really think about it, it's kind of like how when you talk about your body dysmorphia with people and they kind of like, oh no, you don't look that bad, you look fine, or like trying to convince yourself that you're like the ugliest thing ever, but then people are like, no, you look fine. and your loved ones are trying to like reassure you, and it's that feeling of like no one really minds, you know, your loved ones still love and care about you regardless of how you look. But like, if you really think about it, the way that it's on the bottom and it's hard to see, it's kind of like sort of a symbolic way of saying that like no matter how hard someone might try to say that how much they love you or how much they don't see you in the way you see yourself, it's hard to overcome that feeling of people love you for the way that you are, and you have to kind of accept that people love you for the way that you are, not for what you think you are. It's like, dang, you know, like... And again, it's at the bottom, but it's hard to see because sometimes when you have body dysmorphia, it's really hard to see past that point because you're so obsessed with your flaws that when someone's like, yeah, your flaws really aren't that bad, or even if you are flawed, it's like, who cares? I still love you despite your flaws. Like, why do you care so much? If other people care about you regardless of your flaws, then maybe your flaws aren't as bad as you think they are. And it's like, oh, that's a little bittersweet. That hurts a little bit, you know? Because it's like, it's a wholesome thing, but it's also bittersweet because it reminds you that, yeah, there are people who are willing to care about you regardless of the issues that you perceive about yourself. And I think that's a nice thing I want to include. But again, it's hard to see because people obviously are going to overlook that when they have body dysmorphia because they're too busy worrying about how they look. So that was definitely like a small little thing that when I initially saw it, like in the sticker book, it was just really cute. It wasn't supposed to be like some deep thing, but when I saw it, it just, something about it just, I was like, I need to use this for some sort of emotional or some sort of like deep piece in some sort of way. And as for the piece in general, like the vibes of it, it is very cutesy and colorful, like as my art is most of the time, because I felt like if it was dark, it wouldn't look too effective. And also because I just kind of like making my art colorful, even if it's about a dark subject matter. This isn't to trivialize it, it's more so just to like have it be bittersweet in a way, you know? Like it's kind of like this sort of idealized candy-coated world, but it's something about it is dark because that's kind of just how I perceive my reality sometimes, you know? Sometimes just like it's like an escapist fantasy in a way. It's kind of like how, it's like the logic behind Yami Kawaii art, where it's creepy and it's dark, but it's also cute, and it has like, sometimes it has themes about like mental illness, because it's kind of, well, it ties in with Menhera as well, where it's about like wanting to be cute or sort of showing off the darker sides of mental illness, but in a way that's cute and colorful, but still dark, and showing the realities of it, but like in a more cutesy way, just to kind of juxtapose it, instead of having it be all bleak and serious, not to, you know, trivialize it, but to sort of show it in a way that might be more pungent, because sometimes if it is cutesy, it might be a bit more effective in my opinion, since sometimes I worry that it might be too pretentious if I made it more serious looking. I don't know what I'm saying, but that's just kind of the vibe I was going for. I made it all like, and also if you really think about it, the collage kind of has this like girly Y2K feeling, as if it was like some teenage girl making a collage about like how she feels about her body or something like that, or like something in her diary. She's like, I want to look this way, and so she has like all these colorful elements, you know, because teenage vibes. So that's something else you could kind of consider with this, is that maybe she just wants to look a certain way. And this is very like feminine focused, because I feel like when it comes to weight and like body dysmorphia and beauty standards, women tend to face harsher criticism towards it. Like I feel like men could have a little bit more leeway in terms of like appearances. Like I feel like men kind of have more leeway to be ugly. Like they're allowed to be ugly. They can be a little bit gross. They can be fat. They can have acne and all that, you know. Sure, the incels might tell you otherwise, but like they can kind of exist without people really bothering them about that. But like if a woman has acne or is a little bit fat, then like everyone's gonna harp on them, because it's like women's duty to be beautiful, and I hate that so much. I wanted to talk more in depth about like beauty standards, but since I only recorded about 11 minutes of this, or like I sped up the footage so it ended up being only 11 minutes, I did not have enough time to, and I didn't want this to be a really long video. But so I guess I can ramble a little bit about beauty standards near the end. I find them to be really annoying and kind of pointless because they change like every year, and I find that people should just exist. We shouldn't have beauty standards, really. I understand that, you know, people are obviously going to prefer like certain body types or certain people, or obviously the halo effect, like yeah, attractive people are nicer to look at, but like we shouldn't dehumanize other people just because they don't look a certain way or they don't fit a standard. people should be treated normally without being perceived as like less than just because they're ugly or because they don't meet those ideals. And that's why I put I'm not asking to be human, I just want to be myself, because a lot of people who are like not conventional looking, they just want to be themselves. They just want to exist. It's like, well, if I can't be considered human, just allow me to exist as myself, you know? And that's just kind of the thesis of this, is just sometimes people just want to exist. They don't want to they just want to exist in their own bodies. And if you don't like how the way someone looks, you can go look the other way. You don't have to bother them. You don't have to make it your problem. You don't have to turn them down or make them feel like they're a bad person for how they look, because it's not their fault. They exist because they exist, and that's it. Like, I don't know why people have to make it such a big deal. But yeah, I don't know how this video is going to be perceived or whatever. I don't know if it's going to do well, because since this is such a weird and serious topic, and most of the stuff I've been talking about on my channel isn't that serious, so hopefully you guys like this and my process, and it makes sense and it's not pretentious, because I really don't want this to be like too edgy and deep or whatever. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you quacks later.